Listen, I'm not going to mince my words in this video. I think Keir Starmer and the entire Labour cabinet have just committed treason. Again. And why do I say that? I say it because they worked tirelessly to bring a man named Alaa Abdel Fattah into this country, despite the fact that Alaa Abdel Fattah has clearly expressed how much he hates British people and he has called for violence on numerous occasions. Frankly, this guy makes Shamima Begum look like a Girl Scout. I genuinely would rather have Shamima Begum here than this guy, but that's the man that Keir Starmer worked tirelessly to get into this country.
Here we go. Yes, I consider killing any colonialists, and especially Zionists, heroic. We need to kill more of them. Random shooting of white males should convince them racism costs lives. I rejoice when Zionists are killed. Police are not human. They don't have rights. We should just kill them all. Dear international PhD student, by the way, I'm a racist. I don't like white people, so, you got the rest of it there. And this little gem. So, the brilliant British dogs and monkeys really think terrorists will reveal their plans on Twitter.
I know that all sounds pretty bad, but honestly, GB News did not read out his worst comments. So I'm going to do that for you, but viewer discretion is advised. Some of this stuff is pretty horrible. Proof we need more suicide bombings. Don't even know what the context to that message is. It was during the time of the Arab Spring, so probably something to do with that. Jay Mayton once again proves that humanity will not be redeemed until we commit genocide against all white people. Why have we let this guy into our country? Anyway, living in South Africa in general has convinced me that violence is acceptable and the extermination of whites is a desirable thing. Right. Because no medicine can reverse God's will, he should subject his anger at good for creating these dirty homosexuals. Okay. And here's a fun one for you. He posted this in Arabic, again during the time of the Arab Spring, when he was clearly trying to foment some kind of revolution in Egypt. And here's what he said. We won't be able to kill the officers anymore. Fine. We'll find a terror cell to kill their children and torture their mothers. Peacefulness is stupid. Look, clearly this guy is a total piece of work and he hates us. He completely despises us. You can't change the fact that there are people across the world who hate us. Of course, that's just the reality. But what you can do is not let them into your home. If someone expressed these kinds of views about you personally, would you invite them over to dinner? Probably not. And yet that is exactly what Keir Starmer has just done. He's brought him into the country, and not only that, he is now celebrating it along with Yvette Cooper and David Lammy like this is some great victory for the Labour Party.
Here comes Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, gushing with delight. He said in a statement today on X, I'm delighted that Alaa Abdel Fattah is back in the UK and has been reunited with his loved ones. Alaa's case has been a top priority for my government. I'm grateful to President Sisi for his decision to grant the pardon. David Lammy, Yvette Cooper and many Labour ministers and MPs have rolled out the metaphorical red carpet for this hate preacher.
So yeah, like I said, the entire Labour cabinet are celebrating this guy coming back to the UK. And yet, based on some of the posts that I've just read out, I can only assume that he is immediately going to go onto the terror watch list, which is like 50,000 strong now. So I guess, what does it matter if we add one more? And actually, on that note, someone had a flick through his Facebook and it is literally just filled with appreciation of Hamas. So the same Keir Starmer who said that he's going to stamp out anti-Semitism is bringing in people to the country who support Hamas. Great. Now, all of this comes against the backdrop of an ex-MI6 agent warning that a new 9/11 is coming any day from the hundreds of Al-Qaeda sleeper agents ready to unleash carnage in the UK. But again, I want to remind you that Keir Starmer, David Lammy, Yvette Cooper, all of them are delighted to welcome Allah to the UK. Again, tell me how that's not treason. David Betts pointed out something which I found fascinating. Sam Mellier was sentenced in the UK to 2 years in prison for putting up stickers in his local town which said it's okay to be white. And I think he had another one which said mass immigration is white genocide. That was seen as such a serious crime that Sam Mellier had to go to prison. The sentence wasn't even suspended, it was custodial. He had to go to prison for this. It was so serious. Of course, in reality, that shouldn't even be a crime. At worst, he should be getting a fine from the council for putting the stickers up. But that happened to Sam Mellier. At the same time, right, 2021, this guy, Alaa Abdel Fattah, is not even a British citizen. He's in an Egyptian prison. And for some bizarre, inexplicable reason, the British government decided that they were going to give him a passport, make him a British citizen, whilst he's in an Egyptian prison, and then start lobbying the Egyptian government to release him and send him to Britain. Why? Right? And that was done under the Tories. So I don't want you to think at the end of this video like, oh, that would never have happened under the Tories. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. The Uni Party, Labour, the Tories, they just seem desperate to bring people to the country who clearly hate us. They're as bad as each other, quite frankly. Maybe Labour are a tiny bit worse, but the Tories, they would have done this as well. And frankly, for giving him a British passport, a lot of the blame actually lies with them. So keep that in mind when I show you this next clip of Robert Jenrick, because yes, he's a Tory. He may well have some accountability in this whole thing, but he does have the right idea about what to do next.
Well, good evening, Alex. I was absolutely livid when I heard that this vile piece of work is going to be coming to our country, potentially living at taxpayers' expense for years to come. As you say, a little look at his Twitter account reveals everything you need to know about this man. He says he hates white people. He says that the Brits are monkeys. He says that Zionists deserve to die. He says that the police are not human beings and should be killed. He said during the London riots that the City and Downing Street should be set on fire. He's denied the Holocaust. On and on and on it goes. And yet we saw last night the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, the Foreign Secretary of our country rejoicing at the fact this man was coming here, bragging that they'd achieved some kind of diplomatic coup, that someone who basically hates Britain, hates everything that we stand for, is now going to be coming here to roam our streets and live potentially the rest of his life amongst us. It is an absolute disgrace. It tells you everything you need to know about this Labour government, and it has to be stopped if we can. I think this man's citizenship should be revoked, and he should be made to live in Egypt or frankly anywhere else in the world other than the UK.
I wasn't joking at the start of this video and in the title when I said that I think this is treason. Because what else do you call it when you deliberately and knowingly give a passport to and bring into the country, a majority white country for now, someone who has called for a genocide against white people? How is that anything other than treason? And so what I would like to see, and I'm really not kidding here, are treason trials. People need to be held to account. And by the way, it's not even hard to work out who these people are. I mean, it might be a little bit more difficult when it comes to the civil servants, but over 100 MPs, Labour and Tories, all put their names to a letter demanding that Alaa be freed from Egypt and brought to the UK, right? So we know who these people are. They put their names on a list, which is really bizarre, remarkable, and frankly, quite helpful. And I'll say this, a big part of the problem that we are in the UK is because there is no personal accountability anymore. Nobody is held accountable in public life or in government for the things that they do. And yet, public life and governance and the civil service are exactly where you expect the highest levels of personal accountability. But nothing bad ever happens to these people. When was the last time you heard that a civil servant had their pension stripped off them because they were doing something bad? You know, never happens. None of these people ever held accountable. So now they're bringing in people who clearly hate us, have called for, frankly, some very serious violence. They brought these people into the country. Knowingly aiding the king's enemies is part of the definition of treason. So, look, is this person the king's enemy? Good question. I don't know. He certainly sees himself as an enemy of the British people. I mean, he referred to us as monkeys and dogs. Look, I really do believe that we need to see some kind of very serious accountability. And even if we win and we get through this and we fix the mess that Britain is in, if there isn't accountability at the end of the day for a lot of the things that people have been doing, whether it's this, whether it's the Chagos deal, Lord Hermer, whether it's the grooming gangs, if there's no personal accountability ever laid at the feet of these people, then it will happen again in the future. Because it will be seen that actually screwing around, doing these kinds of stupid things, there's no repercussions, there's no responsibility that you can be expected to have. So yes, I want to see trials. What form they take, obviously I'm talking about a legal process. I'm not talking about like lynch mobs or anything, but we do need to see some form of justice in Britain. And so can that be achieved with the way the judiciary is at the moment? I don't know. You probably need a government that's going to come in, revoke the ECHR, change the laws, and then apply them retroactively to all of the people who've messed up this country. It's a very serious undertaking, a very serious endeavour, but I think that's what needs to happen. Let me know what you guys think. Speaking of you guys letting me know what you think, I do have a bit of a favour to ask, because I'm going to make one more video this year, probably on the last day of the year, and I basically want it to be predictions for 2026. So what do we think is going to happen over the next 365 days? Now, of course, I'll give you some of my own ideas of things that I think are likely to take place, but I'd also like to hear from you guys. So in the video comments to this video, if you're still watching this and you've got something that you think is likely to happen, please do make it a comment. If you are flicking through the comments and you see someone else's idea, prediction that you agree with, do give it a thumbs up so I'm more likely to see it. And yeah, we'll go over a few of them in the next video. Probably won't, I'm not going to be able to include all of them. Depends how many comments there are, I suppose. But yeah, I think that'll be really interesting just to lay out where everyone's mindset is. But also at the end of next year, if the channel still exists, touch wood, we'll be able to go back over the video, watch it together and laugh or cry about how accurate the predictions were and how dystopian Britain is looking. I think that's just a sort of fun video, a neat idea, and we can sort of monitor it throughout the year, see how much we got right, see how much we got wrong. Anyway, that's pretty much what I've got for you. Thank you very much for watching. Please do leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next and final video of 2025. Laters.